Hey guys, what's going on? We are back at it with another Kid Buu video. This time, I'm going to explain how to properly understand how to play Kid Buu. So, this video is not really going to be like a guide. I just wanted to preface with this first. It's not going to be like an in-depth guide. It's kind of just going to be an overview of what makes this character strong in neutral, the tools he has, how to use them, and how to approach the game of Dragon Ball FighterZ with Kid Buu on the screen. And using assists as Kid Buu, and the ideas you need to have to be able to use Kid Buu as well. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So, the first thing I feel like anyone notices about Kid Buu is his normals are really weird, right? Like, his jab is good anti-air, and it has pretty good, like, horizontal space, right? Pretty good for a jab. The auto combo, not the best. Not the best. It won't always combo off anti-air. Usually doesn't. Most of the time, it doesn't. Sometimes it does, though. But I think that's pretty good about Kid Buu is his normals. His normals are really weird and unorthodox for the most part. The only one that sucks is 2H. Everything else is pretty good. Got 5M, takes up a lot of space. Pretty fast startup for how far it goes. You have the God normal 1M, 2M, and 3M. So that's down back medium, and down forward medium, right? 1, 2, 3. And if you hit any of these, you can just keep hitting down medium, and like it'll auto confirm it, right? You get a full combo if you really want. You can even do it meterlessly if you have the right assists. Whoops. You can even get a combo meterlessly. But we'll get to that kind of stuff later. For now, I want to talk about the simple things. The simple things that make Kid Buu strong. The things that make Kid Buu strong, quick overview. His normals, his special moves, his hitbox, and his hitbox goes, or his hurtbox rather, his hurtbox, and that ties into the movement, right? One thing about Dragon Ball that a lot of people may or may not understand is movement is a really big part of this game. Being able to move really well, move fast, and with purpose and understanding where you're putting yourself at on the screen, and just having a reason to be somewhere on the screen rather than just kind of like moving around for no reason, it will make your gameplay even better. You know, that's one of the things a lot of pro players keep in mind, and that's not something that's very talked about. Often people are like, wow, he has good movement, but what does it mean to have good movement, you know? And so, having good movement with Kid Buu is like, it's necessary. If your movement is not, it's not crispy, it's not, you know, it's not clean, it's not buttery smooth, then there's no point. You know, you're not gonna be able to play Kid Buu to like the full effect that, you know, you're gonna want to. So yeah, like I said, like the big thing is having a lot of these techniques down, right? Like being able to IED consistently, being able to dash jump, super dash jump, right? Super jump float, floating around the screen. A lot of that stuff like helps you play Kid Buu to the highest potential, because he really abuses movement in this game. His movement options, because he's so small, he can move in and out of spaces that are really hard for a character like, let's say, like Android 16 or Vegito or Cell, right? A bigger character, because they're gonna have to block more often than not, because they'll accidentally be put in proximity guard, or they're gonna be made to block like a random key blast that they might run into. So that's one thing you're gonna have to keep in mind with Kid Buu, is that you're gonna have to be aware of how small you are, and keep that in mind when you're moving around the screen, and know where you can go, where you can escape, how you're gonna get in, how you're gonna get out, right? So that is, I think, the number one thing to keep in mind with Kid Buu, and to remember and to practice, is your movement, right? Because the movement is super important. The other thing that ties in with the movement is air to air. Air to air with Kid Buu is some of the most important one of the most important things in this game, and one of the most important things with Kid Buu in general. If you have good air to air, generally speaking, Unless your character's jab is horrible, then you'll be air to airing a lot with your with your jumping jab. Kid Buu's jab pretty fast, 6-frame jab, right? Has a really good horizontal hitbox, pretty good vertical hitbox as well. It's just overall really good. He gets in, gets out really fast. So if we make him jump, we can just get in, jab, and then jail him to the ground, right? Like if you just see him jump, you're like, alright, I'm gonna jail you. And then you kind of just like take advantage. Like Kid Buu, like Kid Buu is all about the situational awareness as well. If you can't think fast and you can't recognize situations fast, it's gonna be a bit hard at first. But there are a lot of times where people talk about Kid Buu being this like mix-up machine and doing all these things. But in reality, Kid Buu is super strong. He's just really strong, but you have to have really, really good situational awareness to bring out like the best. So that's another thing, is being able to recognize like, oh, I can get a mix up here, I have my assist, or he's air blocking here, so I can go for this high-low or set him up for this cross-up setup. So that is another thing that you'll have to get used to training with Kid Buu. But overall, you'll have to get used to his weird normals as well. This is very strong, and because it's so strong, you might find yourself wanting to hit 1M a lot. But in this game, you gotta remember that air-to-air will always beat trying to trip guard someone. So if he's jumping, and you're like, alright, I'm gonna catch him landing, I'm gonna hit 1M. Why not just jab him? Because if you jab, you catch him, you just hit confirm into the auto combo, into a full combo, right? Or if he blocks, you're like, oh, okay, he blocked. Let me get a mix-up, right? Then you get a 50-50. So that's... I keep reiterating, like, these are really important things with Kid Buu, because these are things a lot of people look over and don't really take advantage of. When I watch them play Kid Buu, they kind of just try to play really fast and create all these scrambles, which is, he does do that as the character, and that's where situational awareness comes in. But you don't have to always do that. You can prevent a lot of that if you just recognize the situation and take advantage of your turn that you're given, right? That's the other thing too, is Kid Buu is really good. He's really good about controlling neutral with his S and his 2S. From full screen, although it's not he doesn't have a multi-key blast, right, like other characters, that's very strong. His S, super fast, I think. Pretty good, will catch people. You can frame trap if you do the S into like dash, like the micro dash 3M, or 3M in the S, very good frame trap. You catch people jumping, you can react to them super dashing. If they reflect, you can still play off that and see what they're going to do, right? Because they're still going to have to recover out of reflect. And if they super dash, you just 2H. It combos. You can always hit confirm it, for the most part. There's no real downside. Outside of like full screen, if you're like 3/4 screen, you can always hit confirm it. Into something like that, right? So using these, very good. But you don't want to like rely on this too much, because it's very easy to get super dash from like this range. You're just doing like S and S or just 2S, right? 2S is very strong because from about like quarter screen in front of your opponent, it tracks. It'll track them if they're below jumping height. If they're jumping, this will just hit them, right? Because of the natural. Oh wow, pretty far. The natural arc it takes, right? This move's super good. 2S super strong. So I recommend using this if you want to keep your opponent from jumping. Usually, what people will do is like, that. They'll do 2S cancel in a special move. Usually EX ball, because it's faster. Or they're about the same speed. 16, this is like 14. Yeah, about the same speed. 2 frames faster, so it doesn't make a difference. Depending on where you are at, how far they are, and if they're jumping or not, I recommend EX ball most of the time. If you hit them, you'll get the meter back, so it doesn't really matter. Like post mix-up, you'll get the meter back. But yeah, that's like the pretty basic stuff about like Kid Buu neutral. Most of his neutral is reliant on you being able to move around the screen really fast and setting up your opponent. So what I mean by that is the general idea of playing Kid Buu is you just want to put your opponent in this like box, right? And in this box, you react to certain options where they are on the screen. So like if I'm above him, right? I'm like, okay, I can S into Ki Blast, or he can Super Dash me, he could 2H me. So maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to float, maybe I want to float, away from him and bait his normal, and then he hits a button, and then I, 1M whiff punish him, right? Or maybe I'm waiting for him to Super Dash, so I jump toward him, float away, 2H, right? It's like he's very good at making the opponent make a decision in neutral on offense or on defense. So, like I explained in my other video of how to do mix-ups with Kid Buu, if you combine the tips in neutral that I'm giving you right now with those how to do mix-ups with him, you're pretty much putting the character together, right? So, I would say Kid Buu is a really good character if you want to do a lot of mix-ups in a short amount of time. His damage isn't the highest, so that's a con, but in the corner his meter build is pretty good with assists and solo to an extent. He can build a good amount of meter. So like when you get bar damage, you spend all your damage or all your bar to do damage. And yeah, I mean, he's very fast if you want to play a fast-paced character. Small, so you don't have to worry about blocking most things in neutral, because you can just move and they'll whiff past you. And you'll notice that when you play a bigger character, you'll have to block more often. Like more assists will put you in proximity guard, you'll have to block more often. Kid Buu, you kind of just move around the screen, so that's why if like anyone who watches me play, you notice I'm always moving around the screen. It's because I'm never really put in proximity guard, and I never really have to block, because my character is small and it all whiffs around me. And I use that to my advantage. I move around the screen really well because my character is really small. When I air dash, my hitbox gets even smaller, and then when I jump and float away, I can control what's gonna hit me and what's not. And that's a really advanced thing that maybe I could cover in another video if you guys want to see, is taking the hit on purpose. Taking the hit in this game on purpose is something a lot of high-level players do occasionally. Sometimes it's really good to take the hit, because then you can, control your tech option, mix up your opponent. Other times, it's not really good to take the hit, depending on the assist. Like, taking the hit on a GT Goku, that's not the best idea, right? Because so much is done. Taking the hit on Trunks Beam, or a Trunks Change the Future, or a Goku Beam, like any beam, right? Because they'll send you full screen, they can't confirm it. They have to confirm preemptively. So if they're moving toward you, they're calling the beam, you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with this guy. If I block it or reflect it, I'm going to get mixed up. Let me just take the hit. Maybe I'll make that another video. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see that. The most important thing, I keep saying it, is the movement. The movement. And mastering your movement options. Being able to dash jump. Being able to dash super jump. Dash super jump into float. You float toward him and then you float away. You whiff punish him. Or you react. He's a character that really is... The character will be as good as your own reactions. Putting together a team with Kid Buu can be a bit annoying, because he's kind of like the all-star of a team for the most part. So you kind of make a team centered around him, and it'll shine. But the thing is, the key to making a good Kid Buu team is, even if he dies, whether he's point, mid, or anchor, is you wanna make a team that works. Even if he, you tag him out, you can use Kid Buu A, B, or C assist to full advantage, or you can use, you get max damage with your combos, really good assists. If you're using A assists, you get 50/50s with your characters, right? So like if I were to tag out and I'm playing Bardock, all of a sudden, it's like, oh man, I get a 50/50 now, I made you block, Or like, if you have Kid Buu, like something that really helps them, because if you have good movement, this is why I play Bardock A and not Bardock B, is like, wow, I basically have an extra normal. Like, I have Lariat. Lariat assist is really good for Kid Buu because it's fast startup, good hit stun. For mix-ups, it's not 2+, so I can't get a mix-up where it'll auto-block like a left-right. The game will auto-block for them because they'd be stuck in block stun. It's just a perfect amount of plus frames for me to get a high-low. It's the perfect assist for Kid Buu, I think, right? Mid-screen, corner, one of the best assists for his neutral in general, one of the best assists for everyone in the game. Like, you just get another normal, and it's super fast startup. Super good. And then another assist that I use, that I think about beams as normals as well. Assists are really just like extensions of your character, depending on how you look at them or what assists you have. So with Kid Buu, beams are like the bread and butter. You can never have enough beams. You have 2 beams with Kid Buu, you're chilling. Those are the actual best assists for him. I'd like to say. So like if you have GT Goku beam, right? GT Goku, because he cuts off that part of the screen, you can catch them if they're jumping. You could check if they're jumping, right? Or if they are already jumping, you can see them jump. Like, all right, mix up, right? Or you get a setup. Like you can jump call it, block, and then boom, throw. Or like dash jump. Like this is why I'm saying like dash super jump is so important. So if you like cross level, you'll always get like a mix up, right? And then stuff like that, you just get mixed up on the fly. This is that situational awareness I was bringing up again. Just always try to get a mix up with Kid Buu. That's the thing though that a lot of people can fall into the habit of, is like always trying to go for a mix up. Just recognize when you can get one and not when you could go for one. Most of the time when you could go for one, it's better to go back to neutral because your neutral is so strong and you can make your opponent commit to an option before you do. That's the thing I see a lot with lower level Kid Buu players, is like they'll always commit to doing something first when they don't have to. The character can be played very patient, and then when it's time for their turn, take it and then use it to the max. But a lot of people don't do that, so I think that's something I would like to see change. And hopefully after people watch this video, they can learn how to play Kid Buu better. And if they have any questions, they could always post it in the comments, and hopefully I'll respond to it if I see them. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Just a simple video, just quick little Kid Buu overview, how I view the character, what you need to take your Kid Buu to the next level. And yeah, hopefully, maybe I'll make a more in-depth like Kid Buu guide video coming soon. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.